Listen, darling, let me get this straight now. You say the last thing you remember doing is painting.
Yes, Mortimer. I distinctly remember using a roller, just as you said we should, and then washing everything out in turpentine.
My, you just don't understand, do you?
And then we put all the paint cans in there.
In the window seat?
Well, there was nowhere else to put them.
But I can't use these now.
But why, for heaven's sakes not, Mortimer?
Well, for one thing, you've left all the lids off.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're not even latex. Hi, I'm Joe Lorario.
And I'm Ed Feldman. Welcome to Rawhide.
This is Furniture to Go, and today we are doing doors. If you don't have a door, you must be living in a cave.
Where were you born? In a barn? Haven't you ever heard of close the door?
Yeah, there's air conditioning on.
Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you.
You know, doors keep out the cold and keep in the heat.
You can paint them, stain them.
And you can stub your toe on them.
There's always going to be a need for servicing, especially on extension doors.
Because they are outdoors.
Well, an indoor can be an outdoor.
Well, it doesn't have to be outdoors.
Well, it can be an indoor. An indoor.
Well, you
indoor.
can't put an indoor outdoors.
Of course you can. Outdoors, you could have an indoor or an outdoor, like in a restaurant.
Indoor. Wasn't she on Bewitched?
No. On an indoor, indoors you can have an indoor or an outdoor, right?
Yeah, but you can't have an outdoor on an indoor.
Of course you can.
Well,
on the other side of the outdoor, it says indoors. A doorknob.
A doorknob. Looks like a mushroom, doesn't it?
And of course, it takes a long time to unscrew all the various things, but eventually they come out, and we put them in the bucket of lacquer thinner.
All the parts are in there. Doorknobs, we'll clean them all off, and then we'll shine them up afterwards.
Now, of course, after you take off some of the screws of a plate like this, you don't know how to get this out. I'm going to show you how. You unwind it like that. You just shove a screwdriver in there, and it will eventually unwind.
Of course, you wouldn't do that if you had the key that fit that lock, because then you screw up the keyhole.
Yeah, but we don't care about this because it's not our door.
There it is. We'll put that there. Let's put this under the table here, just like the Frugal Gourmet.
Now, look. Now we can see what the door used to be.
Yeah, it's a nice natural finish, which coincidentally is what we're going to put on.
And what kind of wood is this?
That's oak.
Of course.
This is solid oak. This door is a beautiful Gothic design also. And there's a lot of ways you can.
God-awful design.
A lot of ways you can strip it. The first thing you could do.
What have you been eating, my friend?
Been drinking too much Merlot? Here, you can use the heat gun.
Now, this door is maybe about 80 years old, I'm guessing.
Now,
and I think it has original glass in it. And we're going to show you various ways to strip an old door such as this.
If you use the heat gun, it's going to take you a long time. It's kind of clean, but it's going to take you a long time. You could just start scraping and hold on to the heat gun. And
danger, Will. I observed Dr. Smith putting lead paint on the door.
Oh, you know, you're right. And if you suspect that there's lead paint on the door, you should use a respirator.
You should use a respirator no matter what if you're going to be using a heat gun, even if you don't think it's lead paint. If you do think it's lead paint, you probably shouldn't strip it at all. Get some professionals to remove it.
Just do it.
And you can also call people in your town that will determine if it is lead paint.
Now, if you don't have a long time to spend with the heat gun...
By the way, we found out this wasn't lead paint.
Another thing you could do is take some hot water, and you take a little bit of lye.
3 big letters.
3 big letters.
Red Devil lye. You know, when I was a kid...
Well, when I was a kid...
That Red Devil was a really scary devil.
But look at him now. He's leaning on a pitchfork and he's smiling. I think George Lucas has got something to do with this. But I digress. Let me tell you. Now, into this cold water, I've taken some wheat paste, wallpaper paste, or you can use cornstarch, and you apply this.
This is a...
You hear that? It's like making a gravy.
It's stripping roux. Paul Prudhomme used to do this when he could still stand up and cook.
Oh, look at that. You've got a nice thick
He sits down now and cooks whole porks.
He's got a little chair.
He's got a chair and a stool, and
now,
he has to cancel reservations due to sheer size.
You want to put the gloves on because if you don't, the fingerprints come off.
Didn't your Uncle Louie use this to take his fingerprints off?
Yeah, but he wasn't in the refinishing business.
Now he's in construction.
You could say that. He's part of a bridge.
Now, while Joe applies that,
you apply this.
and it does come on very nicely. Look what I've got. I've got a peel-away type concoction. It's a confection, and you just slather it on like this. I don't need a respirator for this, no way.
But you should have goggles on, because if it spritzes in your eye...
You have to go to Mount Sinai, and but I have glasses, and they're safety glasses, and this goes right on, and it comes with paper like this, and you put the paper over top of it. And this is very good for moldings, because it'll mold into the moldings. You let that work a couple of hours overnight, and then we'll peel it away, and it'll take off the schlump and all of the paint, too.
Both these processes are going to change the color of the wood, possibly, especially oak or walnut. Turn it black. You get rid of that just by putting some bleach on it. Do it. It's great. It's great. Here. Checking the price. They're 85 cents each, these things.
Oh,
what's the sale price? They're $1.
We're the milkmaids, and our arms are so tired. Won't someone help us?
Oh, we'll play the contestant and
the chauffeur.
And the chauffeur next week. First,
Thursday.
Give me the checkie.
Thursday.
We're washing down the door. Door's all stripped.
Oh, and boy, we sweated so hard stripping this door. Boy, we didn't send it out. We stripped it all ourselves.
We sent this to our friend, Noopy. You might remember from last time when
he body slammed me.
He threw us around in the ring. And we're washing it down with any kind of project. After you get it stripped, you want to wash it down with some naphtha.
Nap thinner?
I was going to say naphtha or paint thinner, just to get rid of any residue. So just wash it down.
Scrub brush, and I'm using the abrasive pads,
which are great. We talked about those before. You can use
get any of the stripper and maybe old varnish or something out of the pores. But look, you can get this on the glass. It's okay.
Look how pretty.
As a matter of fact, it cleans the glass nicely.
Look how pretty that wood is. It's a natural finish. Now, you may see some dark down here, dark right here, dark here. What is that from? It's from the rain. Water has settled on these parts.
And it's brought down ferrous metals and Buhlers from the atmosphere and deposited on the oak door.
So you get rid of that.
Black.
You get rid of that by bleaching. Going to varnish this door. Going to do it fast, so watch. I'm going to do it from the top down. Going to do all the rails, then the stiles. Here I go. Time me. La la la. This is the first coat, 50% water locks, and don't worry about it on the glass. We'll get that off. 50% naphtha, so it'll dry fast. Okay, down. Push the ladder away to the top. The secret to varnishing, get the varnish on there, then go back and pick up all your drips. There we go. Now you want to use marine varnish because it's an outdoor varnish and it expands and contracts with the seasons. That's why they put it on boats. It never dries completely. Okay? If you put a poly or something else on, they dry to a maximum hardness. This is a plastic, and what happens is it'll begin to crack and peel. Marine varnishes will not do that. If you put this marine varnish on, put this door up, in another year you could sand the finish down and apply the same varnish. Okay? Please take note, this is actual time. It is not time lapse. This is how easy it is to varnish a door. If you're me. Now, let's go up the side of the door.
I'm finished, Mrs. Stewart.
Are you?
Yep.
Watch. I don't want you to get splashed.
Mrs. Martha, you said we'd go around the city now and take a look at lots of different doors.
That's where we're going. As soon as I get down to the bottom there. Here we go. Hey, it's almost done. let's go see some other doors.
Look, 60s album cover. Close-up of wood.
Yeah, but you're a deal. Here.
Expensive video effects.
Look at that. That's what they spent it on, and we could have got fruit roll-ups for lunch. Harry, shut the garage door.
And speaking of doors, we live in Philadelphia. A lot of varying styles of architecture in the doors. Here's a simple federal-style colonial door painted in a federal color, green.
And green. And you know, when you live in Pine Street in Philadelphia, you got to check with the Historical Society, and they tell you what color to paint your door.
Well, you consult with them, and this is a pine door as well as the casement.
Well, back in colonial days, when they made their pine furniture and their doors, they painted them because paint was the easiest thing to get. They didn't use varnishes and stains and stuff.
Very simple, but certainly not a poor person's house.
Whoa, here's another one.
Step up. You see that keystone over the window? You got a same keystone at the top of the pediment.
Here's a fluted pilaster right there.
Very much more elegant than the preceding door with a classically styled pointed pediment.
And
dental work.
Nice dental work.
Yes. And, of course, this is painted a colonial color, too. Colonial red.
Well, this is the gray. The surround is the gray. The door is the red. Can you tell which one it is?
Of course, more elegant in the handle and the knocker than the previous door as well.
I think that knocker's a little too small for that door.
That was my second wife.
But then again, the people who live there are midgets.
Look at the nice pointing around the brick, too. Very nicely done. Oh, these are big doors.
They were about 16 feet tall, I believe.
This is late federal period. Probably the edifice of a bank or something, not a residence, certainly.
And they're walnut, solid walnut. They have a lot of beautiful chamfered panels, and you got raised panels, the raised panel in the center, and beautiful decorative moldings around it, and they are really heavy to open.
Yeah, and since it was probably a bank or something along those lines, they could afford some carving.
There's a rosette.
And a lot of wood.
Lots of wood. Look at that. But I think, you know, the knob on that door is way too small.
You and the knobs with the smallness. Here we go onto the west side of Philadelphia, and of course Philadelphia started in the colonial era on the east side of the city and then grew to the west. The era you have Victorian era doors,
and they're also
1860, 1880.
Also walnut. You can see that beautiful cadrooning going around the archway.
I could use a good cadrooning right
every
about
now and then with a little bit of salt.
More elegant, delicate carvings and circles. A residence.
Are they targets in the center there? Those circles? They look like eyes.
Originally a single-family dwelling, now apartments.
Here, this is a beautiful, elegant door.
Oh, the height of Victorian, some may say excess.
I'll say excess.
I'll say elegance.
Okay.
A lot of beautiful oval windows with the ironwork.
And look at the beautiful brass work. Runs all the way around the perimeter. Here you see the door plates where the doorknobs are. They're a little askew, I think. No, but they look pretty.
Luke askew.
And there's the hinges. And here you see the beautiful floral cast iron work that goes around the ovals.
This was originally a single-family dwelling and may still be, because I don't think anybody who rents this would pay to have this redone. Mother! Vinegar!
Norman!
What have you done, Mother?
Stain the door!
Hi, Mrs. Bates is helping me stain the door. Well, she's doing something else. I'm going to stain this door. Remember, we varnished the outdoor door. This is the indoor door. You following along at home? And first, we're going to stain the indoor door before we varnish the indoor door. Okay? Sure, you know what I'm talking about. Of course, we've taped off all the glass with newspaper. Look, my Eskimo sweetie wants to make whoopee in the snow. Spicy, yet informative.
Hey, you know what?
Go across the top and wipe right after we brush. What?
These hinges are copper.
Yeah, so which means?
That's just copper. I'm going to put these heavy gloves on, see? Because when you're working with lacquer thinner, which is what we're working with, you got to wear these heavy gloves, otherwise your fingers are good. And these are special. They have these little ribs on them now. The old ones were just like this, real smooth. So when you got them in the lacquer thinner, you dropped the steel wool pad, but now you got some grip there, some tension.
Look, Furniture to Go moves off backwater cable station to network. It's great.
Now look, if you wear these cheap gloves, this is what happens to them. Don't ever wear them. They'll get eaten right up and they stretch out. You got to wear protective gloves. And look at this doorknob. Got the paint all off of it. It's copper. And now, what do I got in here? Norman, soup's ready. This is hot vinegar once again.
But they continue. Thousands budgeted for each show. They take as long as they want.
Look how pretty that's coming up. Do you see that? Look at that.
Look at that. Hot vinegar will shine up all of your brass, all of your copper. You'll have a nice, clean brass.
Big stars to help boys varnish.
Look at that. That's pretty. See that,
Joe,
Ed?
to use vinegar on Heather Locklear's knobs.
Ed, look at that.
I'm busy here. Oh, that's great.
Get away from me with that stain.
Wasn't that a great outing we had, looking at all those wonderful doors?
You know what my favorite doors were?
What? Ray Manzarek?
No. Those big doors.
The real big doors.
Those giant walnut doors that we stood under.
Yeah, like we've done that already.
Well, let's see how that one's clean. Let's see how
Guys just have to do one series and then retire forever.
Here it comes
Feldman
again.
vows to buy entire Hawaiian island.
Look at this. Cleaning it up again. This is just regular distilled hot vinegar. You could do this on your porch. Just make sure
Unfortunately, both of them were jailed after having all producers killed.
Make sure you wear the right clothes. Old clothes.
On our indoor door, after the stain is dry, of course, what you want is spit coat O shellac.
Ow! Ow.
Problem?
Got a pebble in my shoe. Boy, I was wondering why I was limping. We're going to put the varnish on it. This is an indoor door.
Of course, on Joe's side, the spit coat has already been applied.
Hey, I was just going to say that. Oh. It's already been applied and was sanded down and we tack ragged, and we're using a crystal varnish. Can you see the difference between this? This is kind of like a cloudy varnish. It's a lot different than the amber varnish we put on the outside door. This is good for indoor use, but you never put this on an outside door. And I'm applying it with a
Because
it'll peel off. It's for indoors. It's not for the outdoors. But we apply this the same as the other varnish. And as with all varnishes, your first coat, you can be a little messy because you want to get it on all surfaces. The second coat is where you got to be a little more particular and you got to go a little slower.
Still reading your newspaper over there? I've got a good one.
I haven't seen any over here.
Mother Teresa bothered by corrugated box.
I think you read all of these. Here's one. Bob Dole wants to lend a hand.
Dreaming about French fries often leads to presidential election campaign by Bill and Hillary Clinton.
Look at this one. Bob Denver says we weren't really on an island. Now apply this varnish and let this varnish sit and dry. And after it's dry, you sand it down with like a 320 paper, and then we'll varnish again.
Here's one. Thousands lost falls into Julia Roberts' mouth. I'm sanding with 400 paper. The first coat of varnish.
While I have sanded mine already, and I'm using a tack rag.
Tack rag. Tack rag.
Hey, you need that tack rag?
Of course I do.
And now
after sand, you must always use a tack rag.
Now I'm using the marine varnish again. I'm going to apply a full strength coat. The first coat was half and half varnish, half paint thinner.
Non-fat dry milk.
Half paint thinner. This is full strength. And remember, when you do a door, you always want to do the top and the bottom of the door too, because you want to seal that. Because moisture gets in there and rain, it's going to rot the door out. The door will swell.
Joe, you're not overloading your brush, are you?
The door will swell and it will bust open, just like my aunt did.
Look, in the world news, it says man found dead surrounded by bags of hair. A man named Senhen was found in Chester County, surrounded by plastic bags containing all the hair ever cut from his head. Amazing. This is the final coat of marine varnish.
So you want to be absolutely careful there, Ed.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely careful. And now it's time to get down off the ladder and join the real world down here on the ground. There we go. Make sure you get all the varnish on.
All
ladders.
So many paper, a lot of paper. Special announcement. When we announced our email address, we had no idea so many of you people had those newfangled computers.
But we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We got a lot of things we're doing.
Promise. Going to get back to everybody. It's just taking a lot more time.
This is from our fan, Christopher Kent from DeBarry, Florida. And
DeBarry was a lady.
He's been writing stuff to us for a while, and he drew us a picture.
Show the picture.
He says he needs a little work on the noses, I think, Christopher.
There's a movie. Face of yours.
There was a movie made in the 60s called Pyro. I look like the guy who was burned in that.
You look like Eli Wallach in the end of The Victors.
Thanks for responding to my last correspondence. Thank you, Christopher. Send more pictures.
Dear Ed and Joe, from Jay Schneider. You guys are great. I have a coffee table with a mirror top. It is from the 20s. I know. How can I clean up the blue mirror, or should I replace it? Is it of more value because of the blue mirror top? Any suggestions? Try a vinegar. If not, if the blue has actually come off, you can take it to a place that will resilver and even put blue silvering on the mirror.
Or you can just buy a new piece and have a new piece cut.
Yeah, they made a lot of those blue mirrors. You can probably find another one. Keep looking. Hey, we coated our doors, and you can coat your doors too.
I put mirror in mine.
You liar.
Of course I am. No, actually, this is the outdoor door that we put the marine varnish on. Marine varnishes are good for outdoor finishes, especially for your boat, if you got a boat. That's why they're called marine varnishes.
I got a dinghy.
You got a dinghy?
Yeah.
You are dingy. And this door, let's say you put this on your house, and in about 2 years it starts to look a little worn. All you got to do is clean it down, sand it, and then apply another coat of the same varnish, full strength, right from the can. And don't forget, we put this the brass into some lacquer thinner, got
copper knobs.
Copper and some lacquer thinner, got the old paint off it, and then we shined it up with some hot vinegar. And now, here's the before and the after.
And please, folks, do not cover that beautiful oak Gothic door with an ugly aluminum screen door with a picture of an Amish carriage. I hate that. Here we have the indoor door, which, of course, we stained and then covered with an indoor varnish. Of course, it doesn't have holes for knobs. You can do that, or you can make it into a pocket door, or even a double door like Loretta Young. Here's the avant.
And
the après.
Après?
Very nice. So, do something to your doors, too. Go through them, break them. But whatever you do, be nice to them.
To your doors.
I'm Ed Feldman.
And I'm Joe Lorario, and we'll see you some other time. Goodbye.
Come on. Dance for me.
Come on now. Look, there's a dance.